Good afternoon, y'all. Happy Wednesday. Welcome back to the JD Packers podcast. Your host, Joseph Dino. It's a beautiful Wednesday. We are 1 week away from the Green Bay Packers coming back to training camp. Some teams have already reported to training camp. The NFL season is inching closer and closer. We are 49 days until Seahawks Patriots, 15 days until the Hall of Fame game on August 6th. I'm excited, man. My juices are pumping. All I've been thinking about is football. And today I will be ranking my AFC quarterbacks from 16 to 1. I released my NFC list last week, which was very controversial to a lot of people. I believe this one's going to be a little less controversial, as I believe the top four is pretty unanimous and the rest of the list can be argued, but I think I think this list is going to be pretty much universally agreed on outside of a couple of players I listed. But without further ado, let's get started. So, number 16, I have Shador Sanders slash Deshaun Watson. It doesn't really matter, in my opinion, who wins this QB battle when it comes to who's going to be ranked, about where they're going to be ranked on this list. They're both not very good quarterbacks. For Shador Sanders, I can say he is young. He has a lot of potential, a lot of arm talent, and I think that he can maybe prove himself, but he's not in the best situation to do so behind that offensive line in that receiver room. Deshaun Watson, we already know what he is at this point in his career. Coming off a couple major injuries, he's not a good quarterback whatsoever. And if he is a starter, he is the worst starter in the entire league. I think Shador has the potential to maybe be the 30th, 29th, 28th best quarterback if he starts, and I feel like Cleveland should go with him. But early reports coming out of their minicamp, it looks like there will be a QB battle, but Deshaun Watson is currently leading that. So we will see what happens with that. But I have them ranked as 16. 15, I have Kirk Cousins. Now this will vary if the Raiders if Mendoza does win the QB battle, as I believe he is better than the 15th best quarterback in this conference. However, there are a lot of reports coming out that Kirk Cousins is expected to get the starting role, and the Raiders do not want to rush Mendoza into the starting position. However, I believe at some point he probably will start this coming year. I just cannot see Kirk Cousins being successful at this point. I just don't. Coming off that Achilles tear, he's not been the same player whatsoever since he signed with the Falcons and now with the Raiders. I'm just not really high on future and present Kirk Cousins. So he's 15th on my list. 14, I have Geno Smith. Some people may argue he's a little higher than this. He had one down year. People could argue, oh, he was good in Seattle. He just had one down year with the Raiders last year. But nah, man, I've never been a big Geno guy, even when he was putting up those numbers in Seattle and had his quote unquote resurgence. I've never been a big Geno guy. I don't think he's that good, to be quite honest. He has flashes, he has moments. There's a chance he is a solid starting quarterback this year with Breece Hall, improved offensive line, Garrett Wilson, Omar Cooper Jr., who they drafted in the first round this year. But I'm just not too high on Geno Smith. And I think there may be some controversy who I have at number 12 on this list, but I will get into my reasoning in 1 second. Number 13, I have Daniel Jones. You could argue he should be higher on this list, but that Achilles tear just scares the living hell out of me, especially for a quarterback who a big part of their game is reliant on scrambling and running the ball. And now that he's coming off that major injury, we don't know when he's going to be coming back. Probably like week 6, week 5-ish is what I've been seeing. Could be later than that, who knows? But regardless, I just don't trust a player of Daniel Jones' caliber, and especially the way he plays coming off that Achilles tear. Now, if hypothetically speaking, he plays just like he did last year, he's a lot higher on his list. A lot higher. I think he'd be in the 8 to 7 range, arguably. However, it scares me. That Achilles scares me, and I just don't think he's going to be the same player. We will see if I'm proven wrong, and if that's the case, I apologize, but I have Daniel Jones at 13. Number 12, I have Malik Willis. Now, this may be where the hot take is. But I was saying this may be controversial, having Malik Willis over Daniel Jones and Geno Smith. But I am very high on Malik Willis. Granted, I am a Packers fan, but bias aside, just what I watched when he was in that Packers offense, he was spectacular. And I think the Packers probably could have stayed afloat if he had to be a starter the entire season. Now, it would have not been ideal. Jordan Love is a lot better of a quarterback. So I'm going to shoot down the argument of, oh, Malik Willis, the Packers should have kept Malik Willis instead of Jordan Love, because there are a section of the fan base who believes that for some reason. But Malik Willis is a great quarterback, and he had a resurgence in Green Bay, and Matt LaFleur was a big reason. And I know there's not a lot of weapons for him in Miami, and his numbers may not reflect what this ranking, but I believe Malik Willis is a solid quarterback. He is a starting caliber quarterback in this league, and he's better than just a bottom barrel quarterback. I think Devon Achane and him will have a very good read option offense. I think they'll have a very good running game between those two. Now it depends on the rest of the players, and that receiving core is not the best. So it may not, the teams may just stack the box and force them to throw the ball, and that may not end well just because of the weapons they have. But I'm high on Malik Willis, and I believe if you put Malik Willis on the Jets or on the Colts, they would be a much better team than they would be with Daniel Jones and Geno Smith. So I had Malik Willis at 12. And I was thinking about putting Malik Willis above Aaron Rodgers, who I have at number 11, but I'm picking Aaron Rodgers solely off the experience and the IQ. Obviously, Malik Willis at this point in his career is a lot more gifted talent wise, just because Aaron Rodgers is 42 years old. He doesn't have that much mobility left in him, but man, his IQ is just incredible. It's still top tier. That never goes away. We saw it with Tom Brady late in his career and a lot of these aging quarterbacks. And I think with Aaron Rodgers, I think he's still a solid starting caliber quarterback in this league, which is crazy to say at his age and coming off the Achilles tear he did so late in his career. But I have Aaron Rodgers at 11. Number 10, I have Cam Ward. Man, Cam Ward is such a hard player to grade because I think he's arguably higher than this. It's just one season. I need to see more from him. He's just spent only one season, but man, he is so talented. I believe, like, if you told me he was fifth or sixth on this list at the end of the season, I wouldn't be shocked whatsoever. His arm talent is incredible. He has very good mobility. The Titans did a really good job adding pieces around him, like Warnell Robinson. They got Tony Pollard. I may be missing some people, so I apologize if I am. But the Titans will be solid this year, and I'm not going to spoil my AFC South preview, but I am pretty high on the Titans this year, and I believe they could be a team that goes from potentially worst to first. And I believe Cam Ward taking that step will be a reason why. But in this present moment, I got to see it to believe it. But I believe Cam Ward is 10. Number 9, I have CJ Stroud. You could argue Cam Ward over CJ Stroud, to be quite honest. This was a big one I was really debating on switching, but I'm going to go with CJ still at this current moment. CJ is playing for his job this year. Whether Texans fans or the Texans front office want you to believe that or not, he is playing for his job. He was the sole reason why this team didn't make the Super Bowl last year. If he didn't have 4 interceptions in the first half against the Patriots in the divisional round, they win that game. And I believe they would have beat the Broncos the week after, and I believe they would have gave Seattle a run for their money that year. That defense was crazy, and I think they'll be crazy again. You could even argue they'll be better. And the success of this team is on the shoulders of CJ Stroud. He has to be able to not turn the ball over. He has to be able to make smart decisions. And with Tank Dell and Nico Collins coming, and with Tank Dell coming back and having Nico Collins and adding David Montgomery, there's no excuses for him anymore. I get it. The offensive line isn't up to standard, but they did address it in the draft a little bit. I think it will be a little bit better. And ultimately, he doesn't have to be a superstar. He doesn't even have to be a top 10 quarterback in the league. He just needs to be average. If CJ Stroud is average, the Texans will win the AFC, in my opinion. We will see if he's able to do that. He had such a good rookie season, and we'll see if he's able to bounce back. I believe he could climb this list if he has a rookie-esque season, but we will see. His confidence is obviously shot, and we'll see if he's able to get it back. Number 8, and I believe this guy is pretty controversial because you either love him or you hate him. For me, I'm more towards the thing that he's a little overrated, and that's Bo Nix at number 8. I do think Bo Nix is a good quarterback. I think he's good enough to make the Super Bowl. I mean, I think the Broncos would have made it last year and probably could have won it with him. And they could probably win it again this year with him. But Bo Nix is not super talented, in my opinion. He isn't a guy that strikes fear into me when I play, if I'm playing the Broncos. Bo Nix has a very high floor and a very low ceiling. He's gonna make he has decent IQ. He has decent arm talent. The Broncos have done a really good job surrounding him with a very good offensive line. Yes, the run game is not where it needs to be right now, but they have a very solid receiving core. Jalen Waddle added this offseason, Cortland Sutton. I think Bo Nix is going to have a very good season. But you cannot argue to me that who I'm going to have above him is worse than him. Because I believe if you put the quarterbacks, the 7 quarterbacks I have listed above him in the AFC on the Broncos, they would be even better. So I have Bo Nix at 8. Number 7, I have Trevor Lawrence. And I think there could be people that could argue Bo Nix over Trevor Lawrence. I just don't see it. Trevor Lawrence had the best season of his career last year, in my opinion, under Liam Cohen and that new Jaguars offense. I think that Trevor Lawrence is starting to really, even though you could say he hasn't reached his potential of being the number 1 overall pick and a generational talent, he's been a good quarterback for the Jaguars. And I believe he's a little bit underrated right now. He's got pretty solid mobility, a very good arm. He was making a lot better decisions last year in the pocket, and I think that Trevor Lawrence is a very good quarterback. And the 6 people I have above him, I think you could argue Trevor Lawrence being the 5th best quarterback in the AFC. I really could, but I just think the 2 people I have above him, because I believe the top 4 is pretty unanimous. I don't think I'm spoiling anything saying it's Lamar, Joe, Patrick, and Josh Allen. However you want to list that, you'll see how I have them listed, but I think 7 through 5 is definitely arguable. And I think Trevor Lawrence could climb this list. I'm pretty high on the Jaguars this year. Number 6, I have Justin Herbert. And I was teetering putting Herbert 5th, but man, at some point, what you've done in this league has to matter. And I know it's not been all his fault whatsoever. Obviously, the offensive line last year was banged up to oblivion before the season even started. He was running for his life. Every single Chargers game I tuned in on. But he's just not performed well in the playoffs. He hasn't. And Justin Herbert is so talented. You could argue he's the most talented quarterback in the league. That arm is incredible. He's got crazy good mobility. But he's 6'5". He's huge. He's a huge guy. It's just at some point, what you do in the playoffs and important games needs to matter for these type of lists. And Herbert has yet to show he can show up in big games. I do think he's going to have a really good season under Mike Macdonald. Is it Mike Macdonald or McDaniel? I always mix them up. I always mix up the Mike McDaniel. Sorry, I always mix up McDonald and McDaniels because McDonald's the coach of the Seahawks. But I think under Mike McDaniels, Justin Herbert will have a really good season. That offense should be explosive this year. I believe he'll add a new element to the scheme, and I also think that the offensive line being healthy this year will help Herbert. So there's really no excuses at this point, man. He's got to show up this year. We'll see, and he could maybe get. He's so talented, he probably could get himself in the top 4 argument. But right now, he's 6th on my list. Number 5, I have Drake May. I do think Drake May is slightly overrated for some people because some people think, oh, he's like a top 6, 5 quarterback in the league. I'm not there yet, but he had a crazy season last year. And you could say it was because of the Patriots' weak schedule. That definitely played a part in it. But Drake May took a lot of steps from his rookie season to his second year. Arm talent is definitely there. Mobility is definitely there in the pocket. Not the fastest guy, but he's shifty. He can move in the pocket solid. The Patriots just added A.J. Brown and Romeo Doubs to a really bad receiving core last year, so he will finally have that true number 1 and a pretty solid number 2. So there's really no excuses for Drake May. Obviously, the offensive line is really not the best, and it was their downfall in the Super Bowl, but they have enough talent on offense to probably overcome it. I think Drake May will have a pretty solid season. Maybe not put up the same numbers as he did last year, but maybe put even worse numbers up. But I think he'll have a better season just eye test wise. Man, these top 4 are so hard to rank. And number 4, I have Lamar Jackson. And that's probably going to be controversial. I know a lot of Ravens fans are probably not going to be happy hearing that. People think Lamar Jackson's been very underrated this whole offseason. I mean, look, they had him ranked, 69 on the top 100, which is ridiculous. They had Jalen Hurts and Bo Nix over him that I saw today. Absolutely ridiculous. I do think Lamar Jackson, a big reason why I have him ranked 4 is past playoff performances that have not left my mind. He has not showed up in big games, just like I was talking about with Justin Herbert, and that has to matter at some point. It's not all on him, I get it, but he has fell flat in big games. That you can't deny that to a certain degree. Lamar has definitely improved as a passer. His mobility is obviously one of the, you could argue, the greatest of all time. But his health is definitely a concern at this point, just like who I'm going to have at number 3. And like I said, it's just a big game type thing because obviously the talent's there with Lamar. I got Joe Burrow at 3. That may be controversial. I get it. And saying that the Lamar's been dealing with the health thing and not bringing up Joe Burrow's would be hypocritical. And that's why Joe Burrow is 3 for me. His health is such a big concern because I believe if you guaranteed me Joe Burrow is going to be healthy this season, not miss a single game, I think I could argue Joe Burrow being number 1 in the whole league. I am so high on Joe Burrow. I am a huge Joe Burrow believer. But at some point, staying healthy has to be a part of the equation, and he hasn't been able to do that the last 3-4 seasons. And the reason why I have Joe Burrow over Lamar is he's showing up in big games. He shows up in the playoffs. Well, that was 5 years ago. So what? Lamar hasn't done it yet. Joe Burrow has. And Joe Burrow showed up the entire 2021 playoff run, the entire 2022 playoff run. And if it wasn't, the year 2024, he had a crazy season. The defense was just awful. But Joe Burrow is an incredible talent. His IQ is so high. His mobility is very underrated. He's got a very good arm. I love Joe Burrow's game, man. He's so fun to watch. And I think that Bengals team will be very good if he stays healthy. But, man, they're one of the hardest teams to predict this year because what is there to show that he's going to finally be healthy this year? It's kind of just you got to hope he stays healthy and hope that a freak accident doesn't happen once again. Number 2, I have Patrick Mahomes. I think Mahomes has potential to be 1 on this list at the end of the year, but the ACL does scare me. It does. I think Mahomes will still be a very good quarterback. I still think he's number 2. I think, and it was hard for me not to put number 1 if he didn't. If the Chiefs, I think the Chiefs would have missed the playoffs regardless if Mahomes got hurt, and I still would have had Mahomes 1 if he didn't get hurt, even if they missed the playoffs last year. Because you can't get me to doubt Mahomes. It's just in this current moment, him coming off the ACL tear, and who I have at number 1 being just so insanely talented, I have to go Mahomes at 2. And the truth is the last 3 seasons in the regular season, his production has declined. And you could blame that on the schemes, the receivers, whatever the case may be. But his deep ball has not been as good as it was his first 4 or 5 seasons in the league. I really hope he's able to improve on it this year. I think the addition of Kenneth Walker will help. They can add more play action to their offense, which will probably open up the deep shot more. But I have Mahomes at 2. Number 1, I had Josh Allen. Probably to no one's surprise. Yes, the guy struggled in the playoffs. Yes, the guy was probably he was not the main reason why they lost to the Broncos, but he definitely contributed to it. However, the man is 6'5". He's a tank. He can run through anybody. He's durable. He's got a crazy arm, arguably the best arm in the league. He's the best quarterback right now for the foreseeable future. And I do think Mahomes has potential to take over him. I think Joe Burrow, if he has a full healthy season, could be in the argument. However, in this current standing, just a week outside of training camp, I think Josh Allen's the best quarterback in the league. Let me know what y'all feel about this list. I'm going to film my AFC East preview right after I record this. And I will be releasing my AFC East preview very soon. And I will do my NFC East preview right after that. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. And as always, go Pack Go.